All right, we're live. Welcome to Crossbones MMA presents Keyboard Warriors. Fuck it. That was like a question. That was like Ron Burgundy. It's like, I'm Ron Burgundy? I'm that guy. You put that shit on the top part with a question mark, I fuck it up. All right. This is Keyboard Warriors. I am your host, Eddie Law. This is the show where you can say whatever the fuck you want to, whenever the fuck you want to, really, as long as it's related to MMA. So not really anything you want to, but almost. Anyway, joining me today, we got Nick Pilecki from Crossbones MMA. What's up, dude?
What's going on, guys? Merry Christmas to everybody. Late-ass Christmas, but what's up?
Yeah, late ass Christmas for sure. I was hoping for like some good shit. I got basketball shoes and like clothes, which is cool. But you know, when you're growing up, you don't want clothes. That's kind of the feeling I had. Even though I'm 28, I shouldn't be feeling that way. Anyway, we got Fred Kirby from Gem City Fighting. What's up, dude?
What's happening, fellas?
And of course, Aaron Robbins, Stand and Bang Radio. What's up, brother?
How's it going, everybody? Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
All right. So first things first. None of you are actually gonna say that stupid shit, that New Year, New Me shit, right? Because that's the dumbest fucking thing every year. Somebody gets on Facebook with "Oh, New Year, New Me." It's like, no, same shit, just a different day for you, and you just feel like the New Year's a new thing. Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, man. I'm too old for that shit. New Year, old me.
Yeah, like I'm not even going out tomorrow tomorrow night. I'm not doing that shit. Well, first of all, I gotta work on Thursday, so I really can't. But
Yeah.
even if I did, it's whatever. Anyway, all right. So we haven't been on in maybe like over a week, I think. All right. Well, first things first. Let's talk about the biggest news in MMA right now. Rampage Jackson is back. Woo! No, okay.
Team Rampage.
Team Rampage. Are you really Team Rampage, Nick?
Hell no. Okay, look.
I was gonna say.
Wait. I do have the Ultimate Fighter shirt because that was my first Ultimate Fighter shirt, the Team Rampage, Team Evans. But no, fuck Rampage.
Nick can't stop knocking back Bud Light long enough to talk with us.
Hey, I've been at work all day. I'm just
Look at
fucking
this
done.
alcoholic. No, man, I'm happy about Rampage coming back. I just don't. I mean, I'm happy about it because he deserves to end his career in the UFC. But, I mean, what does the division have for him? What does he have for the division? I mean, I see on social media a lot is like, especially these terrible Facebook posts where somebody finally learned how to use Photoshop, so they put 3 fighters next to each other and say who's for Rampage. And really, anybody in the top 10 right now in the light heavy will wreck him.
Exactly.
Oh, dude, easily. Please put him against like anybody at 185. I'd love for him. Who does he want? He keeps saying he wants to fight. Fuck. God damn it. Who did he say he wants to fight? No. Someone called him out. Maldonado wants to fight him.
Yeah, hell yeah.
205.
Hell yeah.
Maldonado would wreck him.
Hell yeah. I think anyone in the light heavyweight would wreck him. It's just he's too old. He was in Bellator. Bellator isn't the top athlete in MMA, and it's crazy. I don't even know why he signed it. Then he didn't finish his contract with Bellator. That's first off, he didn't do that shit. So how's that gonna fucking work?
Yeah, I just got a problem with it because how long has the guy been fighting, and every time he gets put on his back, his legs just go straight out. He doesn't try to shrimp. He doesn't try to do anything. You just see those pegs straight out, toes pointed towards the auditorium ceiling, and you just know that he's just going to lay there for the entire however long until somebody mercifully stands it up long enough for him to get dumped on his ass again. Unbelievable.
No, for sure. But all right, so let's do like a bit of all right, who would you put him up against realistically, and how many fights do you give him in the UFC before he either retires, he's forced to retire, or gets cut? Nick.
Oh, damn. Maldonado, Dan Henderson if he went back up to light heavyweight, and I give him 3 fights. No, he'll win 1. He'll win his second. He'll lose his first. He'll win his second fight. He'll lose his third, and UFC will cut him.
Cut him. All right, Fred. What do you think, man?
Rampage is interesting, man. I guess you could do some cool shit with him. I would either put him in freak show fights, like maybe something interesting at heavyweight, or I think him and Shogun might be fun again. A rematch with Shogun would be kind of cool. And they're both kind of on a sharp decline, so that might actually be somewhat competitive at this point in the game. but I just don't see a whole lot of a reason to get excited for Rampage at this point. Like, he's not really going to be competitive, and for some reason, even his trash talk and shit, I just don't get really hyped behind at this point anymore. Like, I just don't, you know, I don't know. I don't think he necessarily deserves to be back in the UFC, quite frankly. He's a bit of a crybaby. He went out bitching about how bad it was, and then as soon as he didn't get his way in Bellator, he wants to come back. He's a Bellator-esque fighter right now, man. I mean, of course the UFC made a good move by snatching him up and bringing him over, but I can't really find a big reason to get hyped for him. I think him and Shogun will be fun, but I don't think that maybe he wins 1 or 2 fights, but he's not going to make any noise, and 3 fights tops, and he's curtains for sure.
Right. Yeah, and that's what I think too. I think he's a short shelf life at this point. And I mean, UFC basically just wanted to take a name away from Bellator. They saw what Bellator did with Bonner Ortiz. If you replace Bonner with Rampage, I think it does even better. I mean, that's just my opinion. But
Exactly.
had that fight actually gone down. But yeah, Aaron, what do you think, man?
I'll tell you what, like what Fred said, if you want to come back to the UFC, show us that you deserve to be here. I say give him OSP for his first fight.
Oh, OSP would wreck his shit.
He would kill
Yeah,
him.
no,
He would
seriously.
destroy him.
Yeah, okay, fine. You know what? I really don't believe too much in OSP stock. I got to tell you, what happened with Shogun didn't impress me at all. I'm going from his last fight before Shogun, where he looked like dog shit up against Ryan Bader.
Yeah,
I say, that's a testing ground for both guys. You want to come back to the UFC? Here's the gatekeeper. It's OSP. OSP, you want to prove that you're not a fluke? Take out another name.
And that would be great for OSP. OSP beats a Rampage Jackson. It doesn't matter how garbage Rampage might be. The name alone will get him something.
Actually, I think you should put him against Patrick Cummings. He just came off a win. He's, ranked 16, 15 now? That'd be a good fight.
It makes sense, but I think Pat fucks him up, puts him on his back, and that fight is over.
Yeah, but that's a stepping stone for Pat, and does Rampage want it that much? Be top 16, top 15 guy if you want it that bad. If you can, you deserve to be here. If not, well, Pat Cummings moves up.
They're not going to do it. You deserve to be here.
Yeah, that's a fun fight, but they're paying way too much money for Rampage to waste him on.
For sure.
Petty.
No, and then Coker was talking like, we're gonna enforce our contract. What I heard about the contract is that it was super retarded. Like they were telling him he's gonna get a reality show. They were gonna say he was gonna get a movie deal with Paramount, which sounds dumb. And then they also said that what was the other one? That he was gonna the pay-per-view numbers, all this stuff. The contract is ridiculous. He also had a wrestling contract on top of it. Like what was his name? I think it was Bjorn Rebney that made that contract. I mean, he threw the freaking house at him. Like, just whatever, man. Just come to Bellator. It was pretty ridiculous. So even Coker figured that out. Because I haven't heard about Bellator actually making any moves to enforce that contract.
Do you think one of the points of his return is the Reebok deal? Because didn't he leave because UFC wouldn't let him sign with Reebok? And now that Reebok is signing with UFC, maybe he's going to get a little bit more money from Reebok?
I think one of the deals is he's tired of eating ramen noodles every night. I hear that guy has financial troubles out the ass.
And man, living in England is not cheap. I think that's where he lives, right? He lives in England because he trains at a Wolf Slayer because no gym in the States will take his bitch ass.
Yeah.
Just saying, man. Look, guys.
I think that's what it says. I think that's what it says above the Black Zillion's door. We will not take Rampage bitch ass.
That's one fight I would love to see. Sugar Rashad Evans against Rampage Jackson again. Fuck it. Let's just see it.
Yeah.
There's another guy, man. They're talking about Sugar Rashad coming back and this and that. I do not give a fuck.
Yeah.
First of all, why is Rashad ranked number 4 in the rankings?
Why is he ranked at all? When is the last time he fought or looked good?
True.
God.
Here's the thing. He's one of those guys that's kind of he was one of the first to get in there, and it was like, oh shit, Rashad's, he's a shit, he's awesome. But now he's taking on guys who have been training for a lot longer than he ever did. Guys are training from younger. I mean, John Jones made him look pretty bad. So
Pretty bad.
Really bad. Yeah. But still, I want to give Sugar a little bit of props because I'm a fan of his, even though he's garbage now. But
well, I mean, I understand that he was one of the tough guys. I mean, he was an undersized heavyweight to win that. And then, he looked good against that Salmon guy, who I think kicked out of the crowd. He beat Fidel when he was, 78 years old.
Shit,
That's not really saying too much. I mean, and then you start putting him up against better competition, you see the holes in his game, and then John Jones, I don't know, man. I don't care if he comes back, honestly. I don't care who he fights.
I honestly, I just want to see him fight one more time. Hopefully, put on a big show. Maybe even get a win, and then figure, call it a day. Kind of like when Barner retired. I really was hoping he was gonna get a win. Look, I felt like he was gonna retire anyway because he's taking so much trauma, and he's taking on guys in that division that are just ridiculous. Like he had no shot to win a title. There's no way, not in that division, not in the UFC anyway. Maybe in Bellator or in WSOF or somewhere else, but definitely not in the UFC to win a title. But I was hoping he was gonna get a win against Drew Dober, and then just knocked himself out on a takedown, which is, really, really fucking weird. But it is what it is. But fuck, we strayed big time. Oh, Rampage. All right, so here's the thing about Rampage. Yeah, we strayed so fast. Fucking Rampage. Yeah, I agree. I don't really care that he's coming back. Although there is a rumor that Monster Energy Drink is about to sponsor the UFC as well. Kind of like a a Reebok-ish deal, but much less money, way less money. About like maybe the $9 million is what I heard, but that Monster Drink might sign with the UFC as a sponsor, and that's why Rampage was allowed to wear that Monster hat on that stupid I'm back video. Which, by the way, okay, you predictable piece of shit, Rampage. All right, I fucking the fucking commercial, the little announcement came up, and even before he said it, I was like, I'm back, and I fucking usually do that shit. The unoriginal motherfucker can't say nothing better than that. It's just, it bothered me. For some reason, it bothers me when guys are just not original anymore.
Yo, didn't Rampage pound a bunch of monsters and destroy a fucking whole street one time?
Oh yeah, and he had a lifted truck and he had to run from the cops. There's a freaking picture on the internet where he's just on the ground with his hand behind his back next to his freaking truck. It was hilarious.
This fucking guy being sponsored by Monster is going to be fucking ironically hilarious.
It'll be ironic if you fucking died from a heart attack.
Fred, I think you nailed it right on the head. I think that's what it should only be an internet commercial, and there should be a spokesman that goes, "This fucking guy."
Fred's got to start doing his own YouTube show, just this fucking guy shit. He goes around the internet, finds shit that he decides just that too.
You don't want to be this fucking guy presenting.
Actually, I just looked up the picture. That is fucking hilarious.
It's there, man. But yeah. No, so yeah, Rampage. One thing that came up, they scheduled it for the California UFC. I think it's 184. Holly Holm against Pennington. I think they rescheduled it. For February. Sick fight. Okay. I've been waiting to see Holly Holm take on anybody, and I think Pennington's a good name to take her up against. Maybe maybe after that, if she gets a win, give her a Jessica Eye or something. But or maybe higher. He has an Eagles jersey? Oh, yeah, I forgot. He's an Eagles fan.
We just lost Nick. He is in, the throes of alcoholism.
Hey, Nick, you know what Nick should have done? Nick should have thrown the table, fuck this shit, I'm out, just walked out the door.
Yeah, exactly.
Left it on.
Rampage, fuck you!
Exactly. But anyway, he'll be back anyway. He's probably doing some bullshit. Anyway, so Holly Holm against Raquel Pennington, that should be a fun-ass fight. We'll start with Fred since Nick's gone. You think a win here and maybe one more win after that gets her Ronda Rousey?
Absolutely, man. It seems like you live or die by hype in this game. And Holly Holm hasn't even fought in the UFC, and look at how much attention and hype and shit people talk about her. I mean, she looks really impressive, but I kind of just want her to get a fight so I can gauge it a little bit. Her previous performances have looked really good, but it's hard to gauge exactly how good she is. You know what I'm saying? So. But, yeah, she's got a shitload of hype. If she comes out and starches Pennington and then she gets, like you said, let's say a Jessica Eye, and she gets 2 finishes, I think they'll fast-track her to a title shot for sure, no doubt.
I could see that happening. I really could. But here's the thing about it, too. We know. Yeah, I know, I would, too. But we know that the striking's there. I mean, she's a champion boxer. It's the ground game that's only rumored. That's all it is a rumor. Because, Greg Jackson's like, oh, she's got great, groundwork. She's made strides. I would say that shit, too. One of my fighters could possibly make a fucking pay. Yeah, exactly. Could possibly make a fucking payday fighting for a title. So, I don't know how much we're going to see against Raquel Pennington. I would love to see her, Pennington test her ground game. But, Aaron, what do you think is going to happen in this fight? And do you think a win here, and maybe one more after that gets her Ronda Rousey or a title fight with whoever's the champ?
All right, I do, and that'll show you the depth of the division that we're talking about. Rocky and I being the stepping stones to the champion. I've got nothing but love for Jessica I. Hopefully going to get her on the show with another female fighter, do some WMMA stuff. I absolutely love Strong Style Jim, love her. But we're talking about, I mean, stepping stones. Like if you're talking about, say, the men's welterweight division, how deep that is, and how many people that you've got to go through to even be in title contention. To where we have a chick who's never been in the UFC, and we're like, yeah, she takes out Rocky, and then one other person that has 2 fights in the UFC, she gets to fight the champion.
Yeah.
And then another thing about that is, yep, she's got the 6 striking skills. That's great. She's got long arms. That's bad. Ronda Rousey's known for what?
Armboards, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just like the same thing with Paul Harris, right? And to a lesser degree, yeah, Ian Edwards. So don't even get me started on that shit. But you know, so that's the thing, right? If you've got a pro boxer and she is badass, and you want her to go up against Ronda Rousey, don't let this woman strike anymore for the next however many months. Get 3 people. Matter of fact, get fucking Alan Belcher in there and teach Holly Holm how to defend a goddamn armbar from Ronda Rousey. Apparently, Alan Belcher has kryptonite bones or something, or he figured out the one way to not have your ankle snapped by a 250-pound beast from Brazil. But I'm telling you, Ronda Rousey, for me, it's that thing, you know. She's got that star power. She's got all of this height behind her. But I want to see somebody beat her because I'm sick of seeing a judo toss and an armbar. I am so sick of that shit. And I'm sick of the Cain Velasquez commercial with her, where Cain
Oh, she looks fucking hot in that commercial. I don't give a shit what anyone
she
says.
doesn't. You know what? Everybody
She does.
Ronda Rousey is not hot. She looks like that kid from
Come on.
She looks like the kid from Goonies. She looks like what's that?
Hey, don't you dare ruin Ronda for me. Do not ruin Ronda for me, okay?
I'm sorry, man, but I'm getting sick of people pumping up these women MMA fighters. Oh, she's hot. Bullshit. If she rolled over in the morning without that airbrush makeup all over her face and the soft lighting and the digitizing and the Photoshop, you would chew your arm off to get away from 90% of these.
Yeah, there are 2 WMMA girls that are hot. 1, Miesha Tate, and 2, Paige VanZant. Bottom fucking line. Ronda's pretty, but no. If she rolled over, you're right, Aaron. If she rolled over in the morning, I would be like, what the fuck are you?
I would cut off one of my nuts to wake up with Miesha Tate.
Although, you know what I'll say this about Miesha. I bet Miesha with no makeup looks like shit too. So I'm not sure what you were talking about. But, I'm just saying.
Eddie sounds a little offended with this whole Ronda hate. He's like, hey,
you know what? No, you know why? The only way you can offend me is if you start talking shit about Alexa Grasso. All right, I saw her on Fight Pass. Gorgeous. I saw her in person. Even more gorgeous. I fell in love immediately. It was just like. And I was talking to her for like a few minutes in Spanish just because I was like one of the 5 people in that whole place in the hotel we were at, where all the fighters were at. I was like one of 5 people that spoke Spanish. So I spoke to her for a while, and I was like, hey, you're from my hometown. What's up? And all that. We just shot the shit for a little bit. But, no.
Eddie's like, you speak Spanish too? Yeah, I speak Spanish.
Hey, I didn't even bother speaking English to her. I went right at it with the Spanish. I said, fuck it. I'm going to get my foot in the door here.
So wait, you're talking about Alexis, that ugly chick? I'm joking.
Oh.
Dude, she probably thought you were a waiter.
Boy, hey, you know what? I will fly to Houston and drive down the Corpus Christi and beat the fuck out of you for saying that shit. Anyway, all right. Alexa Grasso is the shit. She's fucking gorgeous. Anyway, and she's a killer too. She had a sick freaking knockout last fight that she had. Anyway, we have a topic here.
Off topic. Okay.
Kind of off topic. I mean, we're still talking women's MMA. But hey, real quick before we move on to something else here, Ronda Rousey is Kat Zingano. It's a fight that I'm very interested in because I think Zingano is not going to let Ronda toss her to the ground. I think Zingano's going to be able to keep her away with some, with the striking. But Nick, what do you think of that fight? Who do you think wins that?
Oh, it's a good fight, man. I like Kat. I really do like Kat. She's such a good fighter. She's very humble. The shit that she's been going through in her career is fucking insane. But you can't deny Ronda Rousey in her game. Like striking, I think she'll beat her. Groundwork, like Aaron said, them arm bars for days. But I think Kat can take her to the later rounds, like Misha did to the third round. I think she can take her to the later rounds and get her into the fifth round. But then I think she'll get gassed out and get finished in the fifth round. But I think Kat has the skill. I think that's the Gustafsson to John Jones. I think Kat is that to Ronda Rousey.
No, for sure. But here's the thing about Ken Zingano being humble. It was, to me, it was almost awkward, but I thought she handled it real well. That she got maybe one question on that garbage, the time is now press conference, where they didn't really actually announce shit. I think they were supposed to announce maybe the Reebok deal then. I don't know. They think it was a Reebok they were supposed to announce then, and nobody asked shit to Zingano. It was all about how Ronda's gonna beat Zingano, and Catch is sitting there going, "All right, bitch. Okay. All right, we're gonna deal with this in the cage at some point. You better be hoping I'm not pissed at that point." But Fred, what do you think of that fight, and who do you think wins?
Man, I have to disagree, guys. I love Kat. I mean, she has had a great story and shit. She's a great fighter. I love how emotional she is when she walks to the cage. That shit gives me like the goose pimples watching her walk to the cage, man.
Yeah.
But in this fight, I think that it's a horrible matchup for her. I think Kat starts really slow, and I think Ronda comes out like a fucking freight train. And I just think that's a bad matchup. I think that Ronda's going to jump all over her, and I think maybe if Kat can survive that first round, shit gets interesting. But I don't think she will. I think Ronda will get the finish. And unlike Aaron, I kind of was one of the dudes that actually liked Mike Tyson fights. I like the fucking the destruction. I love that shit. I don't give a fuck if the fight's over in 15 seconds, so long as somebody's limbs hanging off. I'm down with that shit. I don't like these kind of tedious point matches. When somebody's known as a destroyer, I get really fucking super pumped for those type of fights, man. Even if it's kind of a squash match, fuck it. That's what I tune in for, is the blood and gore. So, like, if she can snap her fucking arm off, I'm all for that shit, and the sooner the better.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think if anyone's going to upset Ronda, I think Kat is the one to do it. I just don't think it's going to happen. But I don't know. What do you think, Aaron?
I don't know what to say. First off, Fred, I love Mike Tyson. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I said I don't want to see any more hip tosses and arm bars because I've already seen it. My thing about Ronda Rousey is this, and it's my thing about John Jones, and it's my thing about a lot of these fighters that believe that they are invincible. I believe they will also suffer from Uriah Faber syndrome when they lose.
No.
Uriah Faber, awesome in the WEC, cannot be touched. Mike Brown beats him? Really? And then after that, he can never attain the same level that he fought at before because the guy knows he can lose. And I think that whenever we see John Jones lose, I think we'll see him consistently lose. When Ronda Rousey loses, and if it's to Kat Zingano, I don't know. But when she does lose, we'll never see the same Ronda Rousey again. I guarantee that.
It's possible everyone does that. But real quick, one of my guys on Twitter, David Spears, he's at Davey_boy, BOI. He just tweeted out at me here, Misha Tate is not hot. Look at what she's packing, bruh. And it's a picture of Misha at weigh-ins. And so he fully believes that she is not hot at all. Let me see if I can put this on the screen here so you guys can see the picture. Hang on, let me get this on here. There it is. All right, check this out. Let me know if you guys can see it.
I'd bang her. I don't see what the problem is.
Look what she's packing. She has absolutely no fluid in her body, and she has a camel toe. Yes,
wait a minute. That's a weight cut picture, man. You can't pick that on a weight cut picture. You're fucking no, hell no.
And besides that, what heterosexual dude doesn't like a healthy camel toe?
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, healthy camel toe. That might be the saying of the night. But oh shit, beer's getting to Nick here.
I'm looking down at this little picture of Nick on my screen, and this fucker has not stopped slamming beer.
I am fucking exhausted. If you know the day I had today at work, you have no fucking.
Wait, what are you drinking anyway? What's the beer?
It's Bud Light.
You can't tell me
Beer of
Bud Light
UFC,
on the
man.
street.
Hey, if Bud Light sponsored me right now, you know how fucking happy I would be right now?
Yeah, guess what? We're going to be doing the show in 2 years from now, and Nick will be standing saying, "Hi, my name is Nick, and I'm an alcoholic."
No, and so he's gonna get tired. He's gonna get mad with Bud Light not sponsoring. He's be like, "I'm gonna go drink a Coors Light because Bud Light won't pay me nothing," and he's gonna drink a fucking Coors Light. 5 minutes later, he's gonna apologize for that shit. So
Wait, wasn't that Brock?
Exactly what I'm talking about,
Next
Brock.
segment with Brock.
Speaking of Brock, lots of rumors saying he's gonna come back, and so I was on Twitter yesterday or Monday, yeah, yesterday, whatever. Everyone was talking about how Brock's gonna come back, and then someone tweeted out, "Look at him, he looks slim." So I actually tuned into that garbage Raw show, and he looks in fucking shape. He looks like he cut weight. Now normally Brock walks around at 300 plus. When he's in WWE, he's even bigger. Now he looks like he's gonna try and make 265. Does he come back, for one? 2, does Bellator have a legit shot at Brock Lesnar? And 3, if and when he comes back, who do you give him first? Let's start with Aaron this time, because Nick is gonna need some time to think of that shit because he's been drinking. Go.
You
All
bastard.
right. Does he come back? Yes. Contract is up in March, I think, or whatever it is. Yes, he's coming back, unfortunately, to mixed martial arts. Does Bellator have a chance? Viacom has the money, but Bellator doesn't have a chance because they don't have the heavyweight division that's going to challenge Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar wants to be in the spotlight. And first off, they don't have the pay-per-view spotlight. They're not going to have the juice behind him. He's going to go back to the UFC, but it's a UFC that is 3 years different and a UFC that has passed him by. When he first got into the UFC, it was Frank Mir and what was that guy from Pride that he took on the Heath
Herring.
Heath Herring.
The first fight, I mean, think of the guys that he destroyed. He destroyed Heath Herring. Oh, there's an accomplishment. He beat a post-motorcycle accident Frank Mir, which 50% of the guys that he fought beat him. Brandon Vera beat him, I think. I mean, say, all right, so let's be realistic about that. He beat Randy Couture, who looked like a 14-year-old kid, up against him in the ring, and Randy was, I think at that point, 64 years old or something like that. And then when he fought legitimate competition, he got fucked. Like, not a little bit fucked. Cain Velasquez peeled his face off his face. So, all right, he comes back to the UFC. That's fine. But the legitimate heavyweights that are here now wreck it.
Who would you give him first?
To welcome him back to the UFC?
Yeah.
Sean Jordan.
it'd be like midget. It'd be like twins almost. Just Sean Jordan that might even be smaller than Brock Lesnar. But yeah, I can see your points and everything on that. And yeah, he is coming back. I mean, he is older. Obviously, he's been gone for like 3 years. So, but he's healthy. He's in shape, if not even cutting him more to get him in better shape. So you got to wonder. But my thing with Brock Lesnar has always been that his striking is dog shit. So if he worked on his striking and he actually improved in that area, his wrestling we already know is top notch. If his striking got better, then I could be like, okay, he's got a shot at something. But I just don't see that being the case. I don't think he actually worked on any striking, and if he did, it'd be kind of weird with his Hulk arms. You could see him gassing out pretty quick. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm curious to see when it happens and how it happens. And I really don't think Bellator has a shot for shit. I think it's just Coker just being Coker, trying to put the Bellator name out there. But Fred, what do you think of this?
Yeah, okay. I think he's going to come back, like Aaron said. I think that where there's smoke, there's fire. A lot of people were talking shit about this. He's probably coming back for sure. As far as Bellator getting him go, I got to say, man, is it just me or is Scott Coker a bit more arrogant this go-round? Maybe it's just me. But it seems like Scott Coker's chirping out a lot more than he used to, and all of a sudden he's gonna fly to Japan and talk to Fedor, and they're gonna actively pursue Brock Lesnar. And I don't know. I just think that Scott Coker needs to sit down and chill out just a little bit. Bellator ain't getting Brock Lesnar. Like Aaron said, Brock Lesnar, for all the shit that you want to say about the guy does shoot for the stars. The reason he went to the UFC the first time is because he actually thought he was the baddest dude on the planet. I gotta hand it to him. You know, the dude fucking actually does has confidence, and he wants to test himself against the best. So he's definitely going to come back to the UFC. That being said, like I don't know, I don't think he's going to come back and cause any noise in the heavyweight division or anything like that. But I tell you what, I'd be more excited for Brock Lesnar than I would Rampage.
Oh, for sure.
I just could give a fuck less about dude, but at least with Brock Lesnar, there's a few question marks. I don't think he'll be no top contender or no shit, but you know, maybe the diverticulitis was real. Maybe he's better now. Maybe this, maybe that. There's at least a few questions that I can maybe get behind, getting pumped to see him fight. I actually think give him Todd Duffy, man. Give him the Duff Man. That'd be fun. If Todd Duffy wins, you get a nice big win for him. They both look like fucking comic book characters. Good fight.
Oh yeah, man, Duffy, what the fuck?
Yeah, dude, that was damn. That's all I said when I saw this fight. I was like, damn.
It was Duffy against who last fight?
Exactly. I don't know.
Yeah.
Fucking, who was it, man?
Anthony Hamilton?
Yes, exactly what I said. Who? Because
that was the fight between the two most bizarre-looking heavyweights I've ever seen. It was like they was like Mr. Potato Heads that had their slots in the wrong place or some shit.
No, and yeah, no, it's true. Oh, real quick, Dave, our boy Dave Spears tweeted in saying that if Brock Lesnar went to Viator, he calls it, and I like that name actually, Viator. Check Congo versus Brock Lesnar, but then who after Congo? True. And then he agrees. Todd Duffy against Lesnar would be a fight he wants to see, and I can see that too. But I don't know. Lesnar coming back is a huge deal, and I would actually make like a freak show fight and say, okay, Rampage, you want to come back? Sure. Here's Lesnar. You know.
Yeah.
Like they did
Totally. I'm fuck yeah. I'm all for that.
I was about to say that.
A couple other guys that could. A couple other guys. Now one I just forgot, but Mitrione could welcome him back.
Yeah.
Mitrione. If you want to be a complete asshole, give him Brendan Schaub. Just finish depressing the fuck out of him and just send him out to retirement. Because that would be sad.
Yes.
Give him a rematch. Give him a rematch with a non-testosterone or horse meat Overroyd.
Hey, okay, go ahead and kick me in the stomach, bitch. It ain't gonna hurt this time. Let's go. But it would hurt. It would fucking suck. Yeah. Nick, you have something?
You ever think about Arlovsky?
You mean like when I go to bed and shit, or?
Exactly. When you go to bed. No, Lesnar versus Arlovsky. That'd be a good fight. I'm down for that. But I don't think he'll be in the UFC. I think he'll be in Bellator.
You think Lesnar goes to Bellator?
Yes, for two reasons. One, Bellator has that little partnership with TNA, right? Now, here's that little pro wrestling out of me. TNA has no tie to Spike TV anymore. And I know they want to get back on TV. They're on a website now, I think, something like that. If Bellator signs Brock Lesnar and says, hey, will you do a pro wrestling deal with TNA and get them back on TV, I think that would be a good pitch for TNA and Bellator, and it will make Brock Lesnar money.
How many beers did you drink?
Oh, this motherfucker.
I'm being serious. No, I'm being legit serious. Like, TNA wants to be that brand. They've been trying to be that brand for years, and they've been signing like Ric Flair. They've been signing Rob Van Dam. They've been signing all these big. It's the UFC to Bellator, basically, with fucking pro wrestling. I think Brock Lesnar will sign with Bellator, and they'll try to do something like that. And I think he will fight Czech Congo or someone in the heavyweight division. I think he'll be that face of Bellator right now. And then it'll piss Dana White off, and then he'll eventually be back in the UFC. But he's 37 years old. Come on.
All right. So what we've been talking about is Dave actually hit me up on Twitter here. I'm gonna send him a link, see if he can make a guest appearance. So we might get a new guy in here in a second, so we could hear all about it. Maybe he'll start talking about Misha Tate. Anyway, all right. So Lesnar going to Bellator. I don't see it. I think Aaron's right. I mean, Aaron and Fred are right with the whole he wants to go to the best place in the exposure and all that. But if Bellator can somehow pull that off, can you imagine the huge upset? I mean, Dana White would be pissed off at that point because then Bellator wouldn't be on the same level as UFC as far as popularity goes, but that would be a huge step for Bellator to get the casual moron fan that would be like, oh yeah, Brock Lesnar's in or whatever. So it'd be kind of weird. But all right, moving on here to UFC 182. It's already fucking trending on Twitter. I mean, it started on Saturday or Sunday. It started trending, and usually fights don't trend on Twitter until fight night. You know what I mean? When they're already on. So it's kind of weird. But of course, it all goes down to DC against John Jones, which is it's a huge fight. It's for sure going to be called the most important fight in the light heavyweight history and all that shit. Which I think if DC wins is absolutely true. If DC is able to beat John Jones, I do see, it might be the biggest fight in the light heavyweight division ever. But that's another stacked division, really, with all these contenders, I think. But I don't know, Aaron, what do you think of this fight? And do you think DC, or who do you think wins, basically?
All right, this is, I think, the third time that I've had to break down this fight. I did it on my show, on Hammer, and now this one. And I'm conflicted because it depends on who brings their game plan and sticks with it. If John Jones really believes that he wants to wrestle with Daniel Cormier, then I don't know. That just doesn't make any sense. I think that's bravado, and I think he's just saying that to drum up business. The thing about John Jones is he's dangerous at range, and he's super dangerous when you're inside the pocket. He eats people up with these destructive knees and elbows inside the pocket. And for Daniel Cormier to have a chance in hell, he has got to get inside that range. And then he's going to have to do what he does best. He is going to have to get this guy down on the canvas and keep him on the canvas and make this a dirty, ugly ground fight where John Jones is not used to be. Do I see John Jones throwing up crazy submission triangle? I think he can try, but I mean, that's not where I see this happening. And every minute of this fight, Daniel Cormier has got to put John Jones someplace where he is uncomfortable. If he allows John Jones to get in his comfort zone, Jones is going to tune Daniel Cormier the way he does everybody else. So I want Daniel Cormier to win. That being said, I'm Team Cormier all the way. I want to see DC win. Unfortunately, I think that would just lead us into a rematch, and Gus would have to wait even longer to fight John Jones again. But like I said, if Daniel Cormier can make him uncomfortable, make it a dirty, ugly fight, make it the fight he wants to win or he wants to fight, I think he has a chance of winning. If he lets John Jones get comfortable for even a minute or two in that cage, he's done.
And I fully agree with that. I guess just like you said, I'm DC all the way. I can't stand John Jones, but while I do think I will say I think DC wins, but it's not going to be on the feet unless he gets like a huge knockout. Just and look, if he knocks John Jones out, it's going to be called a fluke regardless. All right, if it's one of those one punch KOs, it's going to be a fluke, and we'll definitely see a rematch. Now, if DC can dominate John Jones by I don't know how he would do it, but somehow dominate John Jones other than on the ground, obviously with wrestling and being on top of him. But if DC can dominate John Jones the way Dillashaw dominated Renan Barão, I could see them saying, okay, John, you're going to have to fight Gustafsson for a title shot, which again screws Gustafsson out of a title shot. So it's almost like if you're Gustafsson, you got to be a lot pissed off that, they first of all, they take away your title shots a couple times already, and then they give you a killer and Anthony Johnson to fight. Like, okay, here you go, monster, get in there. Like, that sucks for Gustafsson. Look, it's gonna be great fights for at least the next few fights in the contenders, as far as the contenders go in light heavyweight. But again, just like Aaron says, even if DC wins, it's 99% sure a rematch. No way that look, you can put that in your contract too. I think as far as getting a rematch, and I could definitely see John Jones having that in there. But Fred, what do you think of this fight? Who do you think wins?
I think this is a huge fight, man. I don't think that it'll necessarily be the biggest fight as far as pay-per-view numbers go. But for me personally, this is probably one of the biggest fights in the UFC's history as far as talents go. Two talented fighters meeting at the top level. Like, both of these dudes are undefeated. I mean, John Jones has got that little bullshit loss, but come on, right? Like, dude's undefeated. They're fighting for a belt. They're both fucking, not only are they both undefeated, but they've almost never really, DC's like basically never lost a round. And other than the shit with Gustafsson, Jones has looked pretty invincible too, So I think this fight's just fucking huge as far as like the division goes. And I don't know, I'm definitely not a massive fan of all the immediate rematches on title fights, but depending on how this fight goes, I might be able to get into it, man. I think these are just two of the top of the line. I think this could be Ali Joe Frazier. I hate to discount Gustafsson, but it just seems like Cormier's a bit next level, man. I mean, look at how many. Okay, so wait a minute. Both of you guys so far have picked DC, right?
Right.
I get the feeling that DC is going to be fucking favored to win this fight. How fucking insane is that? Somebody's going to be favored over John Jones. You think not?
I don't think so, man. I don't think that Cormier has a shot at being favored whatsoever. Just on the fact that John Jones has beaten every comer.
I'm not hearing nobody pick John Jones in the media.
By Vegas. I think he means in the heart of the fans.
Yeah.
Going into the pay-per-view, the fans are thinking DC's taking this.
Yeah, I mean, look at our show here. Both of you guys have picked DC, and I'm almost inclined to pick DC. His wrestling is fucking nasty as shit, top notch. He's a heavyweight, drop down that hits like a brick shit house. You know, do you think that Jones can keep this dude at bay for 25 minutes without him getting a hold of Jones and just fucking bear dogging him? True. You know what I'm saying? Like, at some point, it seems like DC's going to get his hands on John Jones, and at that point, how does Jones keep DC off of him? So I don't know, but it's an interesting dynamic. For as huge as John Jones is and as mega fucking talented as he is, DC is right there. If he is not favored to win this fight, it'll be super close as far as odds go come fight time.
I think it's 2.
What's there?
I think the Vegas odds are 2-1.
Yeah.
Right. So either way, it's fucking going to be a really close fight. Man, I really don't know what to say. I've been going back and forth on this. I'm also kind of, you know, a bit hesitant on DC's wins. You know, Dan Henderson, you talk about people being a fucking 197. Dan Henderson looked old in that fight with DC. Maybe DC looked great, or maybe Dan just looked old as fuck, but, you know, and then what? He's got the wins against Barnett. I mean, and then the mighty Frank Mir, which is fucking way past his expiration date when DC got that win. So, you know, there's the argument to be made that DC hasn't really fought anybody like John fucking Jones yet either, so.
Yeah, but nobody has fought anybody like John Jones. That's the thing. And that's what I'm saying. I'm waiting for DC to do really, really well and then catch that stupid spinning fucking elbow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be it, man. That could be it. Like, Jones is fucking ultra creative, man. I mean, DC's definitely got the physical tools to win this fight, but Jones' creativity and his ability to take chances and risks is what makes him, A, super exciting, but B, very fucking dangerous, too. But fuck it. All that said, I'm going to go with you guys. I'm going to say that DC wins this fight. I don't know fucking how, but I think eventually he gets his hands on Jones and he controls him and maybe even finishes him.
You know what? I think John Jones has become that that just unlikable that people are picking against him, even though, you know, if you're talking Vegas, it's 2-1 odds and everything in John Jones' favor. The people are still picking DC, and it's got to be the fact that John Jones is just a douchebag. It really is. Hell, he just came out with that whole, you know, so what if I'm fake? I'm winning fights. It's my job, or some bullshit quote that he put out there. He's just a very unlikable guy. And I don't know what the hell. I don't know if he has a PR guy or even a manager that's telling him to shut the fuck up, but he should have that. Someone should tell him to shut up. But I don't know. It's the whole thing. It's fucking dumb. I don't know. I'm sick of John Jones, and I do hope DC just punches his face right off.
Yeah, man. It's that same thing, that fake, but who cares? And I'm a Christian, but I'm fake, and who cares? And I'm a Christian, but I got mad righteousness. But
he's all over the place with that shit.
Stop saying Christian. What the hell does that have to do with anything?
Exactly.
Are MMA fans that steeped in Christianity that makes a difference? I know a lot of MMA fans, and we have never once gotten to a talk about theology. Never once.
Right.
Has it ever been, hey, what denomination are you before we go ahead and watch this pay-per-view?
This fight.
Yeah. Look, man, it could be the Tebow effect, for example, in the NFL. still want Tebow to be signed by somebody. They still think Tebow can play quarterback for somebody because he's Christian. Has nothing to do with it.
That's the one athlete where
nothing to do with it.
one athlete where it works because it's Tim Tebow. Has everybody forgotten that John Jones wrapped his vehicle around a telephone pole because he was drinking and driving?
Yeah,
True.
Right? I know other fighters that I've talked to that said this boy makes it rain at strip clubs on a regular basis.
And the weirdo brings his cats in the fucking airport. What the fuck?
I would like to see that John Jones come forward. Like,
Yes.
I would like to see him embrace the hill. I'd love to see a little fucking Snapchat of John Jones hitting a fucking stripper with a big ball of ones and going, suck it, bitch. Fucking champion. Fuck y'all. Like,
Honestly,
that, I would be like, fuck yeah, that's John Jones, baby. He's the fucking champ. Suck it.
Yes.
Like,
Honestly, if John Jones came out like that, I would like John Jones. If he came out like that to begin with, he would be the shit, in my opinion.
Right.
But he's fake. He put up that front like, oh, I'm proper, I'm the best, blah blah blah, and then I'm telling you that ESPN interview with him in DC when they thought was off air, fucked him up so fucking bad.
Dude, when I first saw that thing, I was at my friend's house. We've been watching fights, and I was hammered. And when I saw it, dude, my stomach hurt from how hard I was laughing. And I just kept yelling, I fucking knew it! I fucking knew it! And I guarantee tons of fans probably thought the same fucking thing. Because I know people that were like, oh, I love John Jones. He's so respectful. He's humble. He's a real martial artist, that guy. He's going places. And I'm like, it's like, okay, whatever. I don't care. But when that came out, I was like, I fucking knew he was a piece of shit. Fuck that guy.
You still there, pussy?
Exactly. No, my favorite.
Oh my god.
My favorite part of that promo.
My favorite part is when they say the mic is hot and it's in the bird, and John Jones has the moment of realization, and he's like,
Wait.
"What do you mean? What do you mean it's live? People can grab this?
People are gonna hear this? Oh shit.
No.
Fuck.
On that promo, because that promo obviously is not in order really, but it's DC going, fuck John Jones. You hear that, Jones? Like, did you hear that, Jones, or whatever? It's like, oh, you hear that, John? Whatever. It was fucking awesome. Like, I love that. That promo might be my favorite MMA promo of all time, easily.
Yeah,
I'm a big Nick Diaz fan, and I love all those Chael Sonnen promos, but that promo might beat all of them for me.
Yes.
You know what? Like Nick said, though, man, if John Jones was just himself, which seems to be a pompous asshole, I think people could get behind it. Nick Diaz is not a fun, likable character, but he's real as a motherfucker, so people fuck with him. They're like, of course he's ornery. He might tell you to go fuck yourself, and he might slap Ariel Helwani, but he's real, and people enjoy that shit. John Jones is probably a pretty big fucking dickhead. And I think if he just was himself, people would be like, he's an asshole. He's not a Christian. But because he tries to force that shit down our throat, everybody hates him for it. Like, dude, you're a dick. You're not a Christian. Just fucking admit it, and we'll all be on board. What the fuck?
Exactly.
But that's the whole thing, is what difference does that – I don't understand where that whole Christian thing comes from. Reebok is not traditionally a Christian company. Nike is not a Christian company. The UFC does not give a rat's ass if you go to church. I would say, 99% of actual hardcore MMA fans, that any one of you guys care, if your favorite fighter got in the ring, said, suck my cock, I'm an atheist, would you stop watching him fight?
A lot of people would, I guarantee it. A lot of people would be like,
no.
Right here.
You what?
The four people sitting right here.
Oh, out of us four? Would I stop watching? No.
Hell no. If Anderson Silva walked up and said, I'm a fucking atheist, I'd laugh and be like, all right, cool, you're still the best in the fucking world.
Yeah, I mean, it's his own beliefs. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. That's the world we're living in, dude, where it matters, right? So people, for some reason, still look up to sports stars, even though
Hold on. Wait a minute. Now, I know that we all find him pompous for doing it, but, maybe he fucking really believes it, Maybe he does believe in God and he thinks it's fucking important. Just to play devil's advocate, just fucking saying, maybe the dude fucking think, of course he comes off like a douchebag to us for it, but the fucking guy is the best in the world. Maybe he does feel like he got blessed by God. And who the fuck knows? Maybe he did. I think it's probably bullshit as far as it goes, but, what the fuck?
And you know what? You might be right. How Ben Askren thinks he's the best welterweight in the world, but he keeps shit talking the place he wants to go to like a fucking idiot. So you never know. It could be possible that John Jones might just be crazy. Well, I can see it happen. Nick.
All right. Well, my buddy just sent me a question. He's watching the show, so shout out to my buddy Mike. He put, do you think John Jones, a guy I truly dislike, honestly, and Anderson Silva are friends? Now, obviously, yeah, they are. They're posting Instagram pictures and videos of them training. How do you think their conversation starts? Oh, I'm Christian. I'm this guy. I'm that guy. I'm the best in the world. No, I'm the best in the world. How do you think John Jones is like fucking I'm a pompous asshole to Anderson Silva, or do you think he puts that front up?
Honestly, I probably think they say, "Where's the bitches?" Like, who's got the line on some pussy? We're the two greatest fighters on planet Earth.
I bet Anderson Silva starts speaking perfect fucking English and says, "Hey man, let's get some bitches. Let's go." Like his English goes from super broken with a bunch of Portuguese in it to just straight.
Let's get some bitches.
You know, I bet Anderson Silva has like a Chael Sonnen voice when he's not on TV and not on the media. He just a friggin' plain English. Here, you know what? It'd be funnier if he had like a Texas Southern drawl. It'd be hilarious if Anderson Silva has a Southern drawl and he speaks perfect English, because I believe he's full of shit when he says he can't speak English. I really do.
No, he has to speak English for sure. He lives in LA for half of the year, man. He has to speak English.
I don't know. It's almost like Vanderlei Silva claiming Brazil, but he lives in Vegas like a fucking moron. But anyway, that's just me.
Nick just blew my mind. I can't believe people are watching this shit. I feel like an idiot now.
No, that's how I feel when people hit me up on Twitter, like you know, anybody that freaking hits me up on Twitter during the show, I'm like, oh shit, you listening to this? Fuck. Like, okay. Well, now I sound like a jackass. It's kind of exactly how I go with it. Hell, when we do the radio shows and people hit us up and like I've had a couple of people actually call into the show and like on Blog Talk, I put them on that queue. So during a commercial or whatever little promo thing we have on, I'll talk to them and I have to see if they're fucking stupid or not, because as long as they sound dumber than me, I could put them on. Like I feel like I could put them on. But I've actually had one person that's actually a really smart person on there, and it was actually a much better show than when it's just me, or it's just me and John, or me, John, and Nick. I like bringing people on all the time, but kind of straying from the point there. Yeah, so DC beating John Jones.
Yeah.
I think if DC beats John Jones, we will see a rematch, right? But let's say John Jones gets dominated so badly, they tell him you gotta fight somebody else first before you get in a title shot. If you're John Jones, do you say okay, fine, give me whoever and I'll fight, or do you possibly make that jump to heavyweight? Start with Nick.
No, you say okay, I'll fight whoever, and they make the Gus rematch for sure. You have to. I've been waiting for this fight, man. It's the cover of the fucking UFC game. It's one of the greatest fights that I've ever fucking seen. I watch it over and over, and I still can't score it right. I have Jones on one side. I have Gus the other time I watch it. It's such a good fight. Now, if DC does manhandle the shit out of John Jones and make him look like a little fucking bitch that he really is, you put Gus versus John Jones for a title shot, bottom line.
John Jones is in Albuquerque, right? That's where he trains and lives at?
Yes.
Okay, good for you, because you called him a bitch like 50 times in this show already. He sees this shit. You are so fucked.
I'll go to fucking New Mexico and walk into his gym and say, John Jones, you're a fucking bitch. I know you
put
can
the beer
probably
down.
whoop my ass.
Put the beer down.
No, beer's down. Beer's down. I will go up to him and say, hey, look, you can probably whoop my ass, but you're a little bitch. You're
probably.
Yeah. You are a little bitch. I don't know. I don't like his fucking attitude. I really don't. I fucking don't.
Hey, look. Hey, man, I get that, man, but I don't like Rampage or Vanderlei Silva, but I'm not going to go up to him and be like, you're a bitch, because I expect to get punched for that. But hey,
I expect to get punched. Hey, I can fucking walk around saying I got punched by John Jones because I called him a fucking bitch. That's a trophy in my book.
You know what? Weirdly enough, you make a point for some reason right there. It kind of made a tiny bit of sense to me. It might be that I'm tired of shit, but still, it's like, wow.
If Nick Diaz came up to you and said, hey, let me punch you in the face, what the fuck would you say?
I'd be a fanboy and be like, "Fuck yeah, do it!" Put my face on shit, But anyway, so Fred, do you think possibly a move to heavyweight, or does he just stick it out to get his title shot? Should he not get a rematch?
Not on a loss, man. Jones does not want to go to heavyweight on a loss because that looks bad. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing for him to clean out the 205 division and then go up. You can build the shit out of it and make these super fights. But if he tries to hightail to heavyweight after getting dogged out by DC, who dropped from heavyweight to take his belt, I don't know, Jack. That ain't going to do him no favors moving to heavyweight at that point. If he loses to DC, he's got to stick around at 205 and try to avenge that loss if he wants to move up to heavyweight and generate any real, drum up any real interest. He's got to have a little stank on him coming up. He doesn't want to disappear on a loss, man. I wouldn't think that would be the way to gain the maximum effect of putting him at heavyweight. He needs to go up on a win. So yeah, and then at that point, sure, give him the whoever wins the Gus Johnson fight for a title shot.
I think it's possible that Nick just took off to Albuquerque. That fucker just jumped off the screen already. So, John, he's on his way. Don't hurt him too bad. Anyway, yeah. So I mean, I see your point for sure. With a loss, what's the point of moving up? Because the only fight you basically want to see him and once he's a heavyweight is him against whoever's a champ, possibly Cain Velasquez. So, right. Should he actually be able to be healthy and not get stripped of the title? Or should he not lose to Verdun, whichever one happens? So, this guy. So yeah, Aaron, what do you think of maybe John Jones moving up to heavyweight? Should he not get the rematch?
I don't know if I'm not keeping up with the world. Is this something that is serious in moving up weight? I mean, why? Just fill me in. I mean, you guys are speculating on this. Is this something he's brought up, or is this just something in our little universe here?
Half and half, because John Jones has talked about it. He's been asked about moving up to heavyweight. At some point, he's talked about it seriously, like, yeah, I'll move up at some point, hope probably soon, whatever. And then other times he kind of downplays it, like, no, I'm not moving up. So I mean, it's partly that.
I think he's full of shit. John Jones walks around like what, 230, 237, 2 something.
Probably.
Yeah.
He's big for a light heavy, but he is small for a heavy. You know what I mean? I just don't see. First off, I don't see maybe moving up 1 or 2 times like Anderson Silva did during his prime to prove that he could, but actually making heavyweight his home, I don't see that ever happening. If he loses to DC in convincing fashion, then yeah, I see him having to fight. If he loses in convincing fashion, does not get the immediate rematch, which I'll tell you guys, it doesn't matter if DC turns his asshole inside out. We will see a rematch if he loses his title.
Yeah.
But let's just say the powers that be somehow don't have that in his contract. Then yeah, he gets one fight down the list, Gus and Rumble, whoever wins that, and then he immediately challenges again. Do I think that he'll ever spend any significant time at heavyweight? No. His frame, he doesn't have a heavyweight frame. He is a light heavyweight.
All right, that makes complete sense, actually, yeah. But I don't know, man. I think John Jones. I do think John Jones would be insane to move up to heavyweight. I think he would get hammered. I think part of the reason why I think, part of the reason why I think DC could beat him tomorrow or on this weekend. I'm fucking wishing it was Friday already. Is that DC might go into that fight, 230, 240, 250 plus, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how much he cuts and how much he gains back once he hydrates. But he'll be heavier than John Jones. That's pretty much for sure. Once they get into the fight. So let's say John Jones does move up. Will he be able to handle 265-pound guys? Let's fuck around and put him against Brock Lesnar. See how fun that would be at a heavyweight bout. Or maybe even against a JDS, because I think that's one thing I want to bring up. After we finish talking about John Jones and Cormier, do you think JDS could make 205?
No.
No.
I don't think so.
Hell no.
Cause that's something that's been talked about by mostly by the fans and some media about could JDS drop down to 205 the way Machida dropped down to 185? I don't think so. I don't think so as well. I think that JDS would be crazy enough to try it, but I don't think that it would work.
Why the fuck would he?
Yeah, there's no reason for him to go down there.
See, when you go down from heavy to light heavy, what the trade-off is speed.
Mm-hmm.
And JDS showed against Miocic, he doesn't have that speed. He don't want to be with guys that are that much faster than him. And that's the argument with Jones moving up to heavyweight, is that Jones doesn't hit hard. He's a crafty striker. He makes opportunities where there are none. He creates space where there is none. He uses elbows better than anybody else. He cuts you. He dazes you. He doesn't have one punch knockout power that you need in the heavyweight division, and that's what he's lacking. Just like if JDS could somehow, I don't know, have dysentery for 3.5 weeks and make it down to 205, he lacks the speed. He has the power, but he wouldn't hit anybody, because at 205 you got faster athletes.
That's very, very true. But let's see. Oh, Dave tweeted in again. Dave says he wants to see Rumble versus Jones. That's scarier than Cormier versus Bones or Gus versus Bones. So he wants to see, how crazy would that be, Anthony? And I know we're coming off the JDS thing, but how crazy would it be, or how much fun do you want to see that goddamn fight, Anthony Johnson against John Jones at some point? And
yes, I agree with Dave. That fight would be awesome.
That'd be fun.
Let me ask you guys a quick question. What do you guys think about the Gus Johnson fight? How do you guys see that fight playing out? Who is going to get the fight next for the belt? What do we think? It's all happening in January anyways, right? So might as well.
Yeah.
Who do you think's going to win that fucking fight?
Man, dude, I don't even know, man. I think it's Anthony Johnson's time. I think it's Rumble's time, and I think Gustafson's going to get fucked out of a title shot again, and legitimately this time.
All right, now you want to talk about a dude who could cruise at heavyweight for a while. Yeah. Anthony Johnson is fucking gigantic. I talked with a couple of guys that fought him while he was making that ridiculous weight cut, and FYI, he never fucking made that weight. In any organization that he fought outside of the UFC, his manager and his team always had to talk to his opponents and say, hey, look, Anthony's off weight by like 164 pounds. You still want to fight him. David Blanch fought him when he was huge. There's a couple of other guys that I talked to. That boy never made that weight. He is big. I look at it this way. If Gus can be real creative and not get touched by him, he might win that fight. But I'm telling you what, guys, Anthony Johnson is the shit that nightmares are made out of for me.
No, I completely agree. I think, man, look, anytime you tell me Anthony Johnson's going to fight, especially with his recent performances, fuck yeah, I'm going to tune in. And, yeah, but I remember when he was cutting down to 170, when they would show him on some of the countdowns and everything, he looked like a legitimate heavyweight. I mean, that was a fucking suicide cut that he was making at 170. And that's when you saw that trade-off of speed for sure with Johnson and anybody he took on. So yeah, no, Anthony Johnson against John Jones, fun as hell to watch for sure. Let's see, what else do we got today? The UFC lawsuit. UFC brought their big dog law firm to defend them. I don't know. I tweeted out earlier actually, it's like, who's gonna win this this lawsuit? Just kind of bullshitting around and expecting nobody to get what I believe the answer is, which is the lawyers. Anytime there's a lawsuit, the fucking lawyers win a ton of fucking money. Is what it is. But there's been a few more fighters that jumped on this lawsuit. I haven't seen the list of it. I was wondering if one of you knows who else jumped on that thing.
Well, there's 3 lawsuits.
Yeah, there are 3 different ones, right?
And the latest one was Pablo Garza and Brandon Vera.
Okay. Yeah, Brandon Vera, who actually just made he won by this massacre in his 1FC. I think it was his debut, right? In 1FC.
Are you guys watching 1FC, by the way?
No, and only because it's really fucking early.
You guys have got to watch that shit.
I have to watch it. I watch the replays on YouTube, but I don't like watching. Maybe I'm one of the few, but I don't like watching replays of fights because by the time I watch the goddamn replay, I already know who won, and it doesn't bother me 100%. I'll still watch it, but it's just like it's like, okay, well, how do you do it? Whatever, I can find a GIF on the internet telling me exactly how he did it.
Man, I'm telling you, having the 12-6 elbows, the soccer kicks, the north-south knees, the down opponent. I love 1FC. I don't give a shit if I know any of the fighters' names. It doesn't make any difference because you take those rules like they used to be back in Pride, and then you got a referee like Yuji Shimada who actually will break up in action like almost immediately. These guys fuck around up against the cage. He slaps him, says box, box, makes him fight. They get down on the ground, somebody's stalling, he slaps him, stands him up, box, box, makes him fight. You get a guy who wants to stall and wrestle, get him in a north-south position and start smashing the top of his dome piece with knees. I don't know, guys. If you get a chance, and I know that you can watch it while it's going on. I know it's early, but if you get a chance, hardcore MMA fans should really be watching ONE FC.
Yeah, I mean, usually they're on pretty early. If they're on like on a Saturday, now that you know, my job's not going to be busy whatsoever, I'll catch it. I don't even mind paying for the stream at all. I mean, if it's quality MMA, I'll pay for it. But just like the last couple ones, I haven't been able to watch, and I've only been able to catch the replays for sure. But yeah, definitely ONE FC. Okay, here's one thing about ONE FC. They have Ben Askren, and Ben Askren keeps bitching about not being in the UFC. But you keep talking your way. Like, you know, the way he talks, it's like he should talk to the UFC like no other. At this point, I'm annoyed with Ben Askren. I still want to see him against some of the best, but if he keeps talking the way he's talking, he's not going to get in. I mean, is anybody else annoyed by this motherfucker?
Yes.
Yeah, he's definitely on the list of I don't give a F about Ben Askren. I mean, if that dude fucking wanted to compete as much as he shoots his mouth off about, he should have just done it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear about you if you sign a fucking contract with another organization. I respect your game. I respect that you can go get a big payday against lesser competition, but don't sign that contract and then run your fucking mouth constantly for the next 3 years about how you're better than all those guys. Go fucking prove it, man.
It's exactly what I want to see. Real quick, Dave Scholler just tweeted out, tune in alert. Dana White will join Fox Sports Live in approximately 10 minutes. That just got tweeted out literally 9 seconds ago. I wonder who got hurt this time. It's all I can think of is someone got injured and they're out of the fight.
Don't say that.
That better fucking not be, but dude, that sounds right. Anyways, before we wrap this shit up, is anybody else excited at all about the Hector Lombard fight?
No.
They're feeding.
Honestly.
I gotta say, Josh Berkman takes a lot of fucking stank off of it for me, man. He just does.
Josh Berkman's getting fed to the fucking sharks right here. I'm not
saying Berkman's not a legit fighter. You misunderstood me. Are you excited that somebody's actually stupid enough to take a fight with this guy and finally move his career forward? I thought this guy was going to be on the shelf until he retired.
That's true. That's very true. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm totally excited for it. I actually like Hector Lombard too, man. He's another one that has a pretty interesting personality. Anytime you see the dude do an interview, he's always almost Brock Lesnar-esque in his you know, I don't know, he's interestingly annoyed, it seems, most times, what the fuck, even when he's doing an interview and shit.
I've interviewed
but
he's aggressive.
What'd you say, Aaron?
Look,
I said I've interviewed him. He's aggressive.
Yeah, exactly. But I like that though. It's interesting. It's better than it just being fucking mundane and boring. You know, if I'm watching an interview with fucking Hector Lombard, I know I gotta kind of listen and stay on my P's and Q's because that dude might just fucking say something kind of interesting out of the clear blue sky. So plus he's a fucking destroyer in the ring, and you know, he always comes out to fucking bring it. And quite frankly, at 170, he is kind of I don't know, unheralded, I guess, a bit. Like, I think that dude could very well be a fucking title contender at 170 for sure, man.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, Nick, do you have Fight Pass?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Because you didn't seem too interested about the whole Hector thing. Have you checked out his fights from the past? And like,
I have. Oh, no, I have. Trust me. I like Hector Lombard, but I don't know. I'm not interested in his fights, per se. I know he'll be a title contender. He'll be a title contender this year. He'll probably get he'll get the winner of Kelvin versus Tyron, for sure.
That's what that was my only point, is that now we can finally see him move ahead, because he fucking wrecked Paul Harris.
Hell yeah, he did.
And he just toyed with Jake Shields. He fucking destroyed Nate Marquardt. And now we got Nate Marquardt taking on Brad Tavares, 2 or 3 spots higher on the 182 card than Hector Lombard. I don't know, man. If you guys saw him in Pride and then in Bellator, if we want to talk about a legitimate 170-pound weight class, this guy's got to get in the mix. All right, now since I went off on way fucking left field, I'll shut my ass now.
well, wait. Do you think Hector Lombard will beat Kelvin Gastelum or Tyron Woodley, the winner? Both?
Both.
Yeah.
You think he'll beat Kelvin?
Both.
Okay.
Dude, he's a fucking killer. Watch his fights
no,
again.
I understand he's a killer, but I think
he is durable as shit. His losses are all been decisions. The guy never gets hurt. He gets bored. He gets bored. That's the worst thing about him is that he gets bored. If he can't like knock you right the fuck out in the first round and a half, he gets bored. I see Eddie Law down in the corner of my screen looking all bored too. But
so,
I'm just saying, if you lose to Tim Bosch and Yushino Kami, I know they're both in split decisions, but I don't think he'll beat Kelvin. I really don't think. Yes, Tyron Woodley, because Tyron Woodley just plays defense half the time too, but not Kelvin. No, Kelvin's too smart. He's that new breed of fighter. I don't think he'll beat. No, he won't beat Kelvin.
No, I think if he touches you on the side of your head or your chin, it doesn't matter what breed you are, you go to sleep.
I can see that possible. Yeah. And look, first of all, I turned on Fox Sports 1 and they had an NBA on it. I'm a basketball nerd.
Whatever, bro. I was yammering. It's fine.
No, for real. No, here's the thing: is that a second ago they put Dana White on Fox Sports Live. Now they have it replace his picture with Johns vs. Cormier preview. So he might just be coming on and talk about the fight, but. It's what 11 o'clock in the East Coast right now.
I swear to God,
almost midnight.
11:30.
It's almost midnight in the East Coast. It's 10 o'clock in Arizona, 8 o'clock in the West. I don't know who he's previewing this fucking card for. It's kind of dumb. So
I don't think it's going to preview. I think it's some news. It has to be some news.
I'm still thinking it's some kind of announcement, but it's I don't know. It's kind of a weird time to make it unless he wants to beat the the front row Bryans of the world, I guess. Anyway, all right, so we're gonna wrap it up here. We're gonna do final thoughts. Start off with Nick.
What's up?
Final thoughts on anything?
Who wants another beer?
Yes, that. No, and new light heavyweight champion DC. Bottom line.
All right, Fred.
Same thing, man. Final thoughts is it's got to be this weekend, man. John Jones, Daniel Cormier, probably, one of the biggest fights that we're going to have, one of the most meaningful fights that we're going to have for quite a while in MMA at the top level. Tune in. This is what we watch the sport for, man. This is what we follow for, to see the two fucking baddest dudes on the planet fight. I'm more excited for this fight than probably any fight this month, and that says a lot because there's a lot of really fucking good fights on this month, man. So. This Saturday night, that's what's up, man. Jones, DC.
For sure. And Aaron, what do you got?
My final thought is this. If John Jones handles Daniel Cormier as well as he has everyone else, and I've had good expectations for everyone else, I think I'm actually going to have to finally accept the reality that John Jones is at that next level. And I'm still going to hate his guts, but I am going to have to accept that into my paradigm that we might be looking at this guy for a long time to come.
All right, and for me, final thought's gonna be that I just have a belief, I guess, in DC and what he stands for, and the fact that he's real, and he hasn't faked anything at all, as far as we know, anyway. But he doesn't seem like he's fake whatsoever. He backs up everything he says, and I just think it's his time to come in and take that title away from John Jones. I also think we get some kind of epic fight in the main event this weekend, and I don't know, I'm excited for it, man. And then yeah, man, I don't know, I'm DC all the way with it, so I'm hoping he takes that title away from him, and then they'll have two champs over at AK in San Jose, so that'll be a fun little thing to talk about later on. All right, gentlemen, so happy New Year's to each and one of you. If you guys go out and do your thing, be safe, try not to drive anywhere, because I don't know about where you guys live at, but I know in Arizona people get really, really stupid on the roads, on New Year's. So I'm going to be staying in, mostly because I got to work Thursday morning, which blows, but what are you going to do? Anyway, thanks for joining me, fellas, and you guys all have a good night, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, guys.
Take it easy.
All right, fellas. Later, man.